All right. What is up, everybody? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Today, Nathan and I are going to bring you guys coverage of the Hong Kong Battle Hardened. It's going to be 7 rounds of Blitz, followed up by top 8. And then tomorrow we're going to come back for a PTI event. We're going to have 7 rounds of CC, followed up by 3 rounds of top 8. There's a lot of players in Hong Kong that are pretty good at Blitz and pretty good at CC, so I'm looking forward to this. Why don't you talk a little bit about Blitz while I figure out the perfect bit rate for this stream? Because that seems like I'm dropping some frames.
Okay, so just to just kind of give a brief overview of Blitz, and Blitz is very big in Hong Kong, mainly because there's a lot of people that show up to these armory events and stuff like that. So I mean, it's very common to go to a armory in Hong Kong and get 30-40 people probably. So if you were to run CC games, that could easily last anywhere between 6 to 7 hours, depending on whether you cut to top 8 and whatnot. So they're most of the time they run the Blitz format. So we expect a lot of high-end play in this format out of this region. Although the region is great at every format, just they spend a lot of time playing this Blitz format. So we're expecting great things there. As far as we do have a meta graph now that we'll get to in just a second. And just going over just rough stuff. Obviously, we're not going to see any Icelander, Oldhim, or Viserai. And to clear up any due to LL, obviously. And then this is also going to be the old Blitz rules. It is not going to include the sideboarding. So it's just 40 cards always, and then all the equipment you can handle.
There's a lot of drop frames. I'm gonna try to figure out why there's drop frames.
Sure.
I mean, it could just be down to my internet. It's just not that strong. Yeah, it is constantly dropping frames. That's very, 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 very upsetting. We, you know what? Let me just set this out of here.
We're doing our best, people. I promise.
We're trying our best. It's still dropping frames. Jesus. All right, I need to. Let me just do a speed test to figure out what's going on. I mean, it could be because I am transmitting the webcam to you instead of recording it on OBS. Yep.
You swap that on the fly?
I can, but I'm just testing this. I'm doing a speed test just to figure out what upload I can have here. There's quite a bit of variance on the upload. Oh boy, round 1 is starting soon. Okay, so I mean, I'm getting about, oh geez, like 3. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Oh boy. I don't know if I can swap this out in time. Okay. The game has started, so we're just going to switch to that. I'll try to figure out this later. Sorry about that.
I mean, if you want to stay working on that, I could just cover the game and go from there.
Hold on. Let me try to. All right, guys. Sorry about that delay. Um, I hope that it is a bit better now. Um, I'm not exactly sure how to adjust the latency. It's currently set in the middle one, I believe. Um,
Change it to normal.
yeah. And then, yeah, I'm going to increase the bit rate here. Why don't you talk about this game? We have Shiana versus Bravo. So I'm sure you have a
Yep,
lot to
I'll
talk
hop in.
about while I figure this out.
Oh yeah, we got a little bit. We got a little bit. So once again, sorry everybody for we're just getting things going, and our first matchup is going to be Bravo versus Shiana. Okay, so not something you would probably expect. Just to give everybody a heads up of the meta, we're going to show the graph a little bit later once we get that on the screen after this game. But as far as the most highly represented right now, we're looking at 15 Iras, 14 Rhinar, 9 Kasai, 9 Chain, and then it kind of dwindles down from there with like Dash, Prism, Vinset, and such. So those are your big ones: Ira, Rhinar, Chain, Dash, and Kasai, and then a little bit of Prism and Vinset. So uh, those of you who are probably not too familiar with Shiana, basically what her card text says is she can have specialization cards of any hero in her deck. And then at the beginning of your action phase, Shiana becomes a copy of target hero until the start of your next turn. And gains cards you own or the class of your hero in addition to other class types. Okay, so that goes with like the shape shifting, thematically, and we are going to go ahead and start the match. Okay, so as far as equipment goes, we have Kalashar, Vambrace, and Ironhide legs, and then of course Tunic, and then I don't know what's standard for Shiana. You know, I'm not too versed in that one, but the Bravo side looks pretty standard, right? Just have the fridge with the Anathos and the key mark Guardian boots, if you will, the Iron Rut boots. They need some help when they can get it, but you know, for now we'll keep making fun of their little slippers. So I'm very interested to see how the Cheyenne plays. I mean, I don't think I've actually ever seen a game of Shiana, but I mean, I'm looking forward to it. So starting out, we got the Rouse with the double fuse showing the Spinal and then another Guardian Blue. Just trying to push damage. Now, that could be for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, assuming all of Shiana's cards block for 3 each, which is probably a tall ask, this will mean that he will guarantee at least a little bit of leak damage. But in this instance, we're looking like we're blocking with a Drone of Brutality. It looks blue to me. So we are going to have a little bit of recursion built into the deck for the long game. That's something that Bravo's going to have to keep in mind, although Bravo's not too concerned about that because of Anathos, right? He can swing for 6 on his own terms, right? He doesn't need a card to do so. The only thing that kind of is advantageous for Shiana is she can block with those cards and they go to the bottom. So he actually blocked with 2. So there is a little bit of life damage that was dealt. Also, Josh, if you want to tell whoever's over there, we need a life counter that we can see.
Yeah, you're right. Let me get on that.
I just realized that because Shiana took damage and I couldn't tell how much. But it looked like a full cover up on the Rouse, and then it looked like a 3 block into the Anathos. So I'm assuming that Shiana is sitting at 17 right now and has tempo obviously going second. So let's see what a card with a bunch of specializations can actually accomplish. I'm super interested in seeing what can be done here. The Shiana player is obviously in the tank. It's hard being 4 different heroes. Unfortunately, due to the glare, it's hard to make out that card.
Okay, it looks like I can't adjust the latency while we are live, so I will adjust that between round 1 and 2. That should help with the delay or with the drop frames. Also, there's some glare. We will get that resolved as well. You know, this is just how it goes when you're 8,000 miles away from where it's actually being played.
It's gonna be, yeah. It's just some round 1 woes. We'll call it.
Yep. That. Yep. We'll smooth it out. Okay, so I have just started watching the game now again, Nathan. What happened in the first couple turns?
Okay, that was an endless winner. So what happened? All you missed was the very first turn. He roused and then swung hammer, and I think he leaked about 3 damage or so. And then Shiana returned with her own Guardian card, Endless Winter. It was not fused, so it did not create the frostbites. And then Bravo just full covered up and is now sitting on a 2-card hand with Spinal Crush in Arsenal. I do not know the Arsenal of the Shiana player. So that's where we're at currently.
Okay. I have not seen a Shiana since like Crucible War days. I think we both.
I had an accurate guess. She is sitting at 17 life, just so everybody knows.
Is there another option for Shiana in terms of weapons? There's only Talishar and
if I'm not
the Ornate Tessin, right? So she's basically forced. Generic. Yeah, she's forced into having. So essentially, she has no weapon here. So, do we have any indication that the Bravo player is like playing for fatigue, or is he being more aggressive?
No indication yet. He just very efficiently blocked the Endless Winter.
Oh, Flail of Agony. Yeah. Yep. Wait, Flail is a specialization. So yes, you can use it. Yep.
It is a specialization. Yep.
Yep. Okay. So that is possible there.
And you can also use Arcane Lantern if you so please. So
that is true. Yeah.
um,
Not super relevant in this matchup though. Okay, so Bravo is a hero that we traditionally don't see much of in Blitz, mainly because Bravo is fairly weak to Ira, and Bravo is also fairly susceptible to Reinhardt, both of which make up a large majority of the metagame in Hong Kong. But it looks like he was brave and brought Bravo today. Again, we during our chart guide tier list, we always talk about how a lot of Bravo players are like Oldham refugees. So maybe he played Oldham, it got LL'd, and now he's playing Bravo. So, yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of equity to be had in playing Bravo and Blitz. I think the thing that makes it most attractive for me is there's a lot of ways that you can get like a turn 1 pulverize set up, via Showtime, imposing visage, drawing, or a turn 1 heaved pulverize, right? And that gives you the opportunity to block a lot of damage on their first turn and then just start the game out heavy with a 14 hitter, right? And then you have the huge fridge, right? So there's a lot going for it. Is it the best deck? That's to be determined, right? But there definitely is some equity in playing it. And then also you have the fact that there are the the quote unquote Oldham refugees.
So I'm trying to think, like, the last set gave us 5-6 specializations, right? We got the Bravo specialization, we got the Dory specialization, we got the Briar specialization, we got the Lexi specialization, but none of them are really jumping out at me as like something that you really want to play in Shiana.
Well, I mean, the only thing that I can think of is just putting a bunch of like kind of somewhat efficient attacks in your deck, like Endless Winter, and which is definitely not the most efficient, but with Tunic Counter it can be.
Yep.
And then cards like Herald of Judgment and stuff like that, and then just trying to play like the 2-card hand value game is the only thing that I can imagine. We've also seen a couple of D-reacts. We've seen a lunging press, which is super interesting. I don't know what Ice Eternal is going to be doing. I mean, this is uncharted territory for me.
The old Crucible of War Shiana, I vaguely remember people telling me like, hey, if you ever sit across a Shiana, you better bring AB1. And I'm trying to recall why that people said that. Like, this Viscerize specialization, right, creates rune chance on hit. So I vaguely remember there was like
Lesson in Lava as well, right?
Yeah. Lesson in Lava, Blazing Aether, Arc Knight Ascendancy. These are ways that like you, and we already see like Ice Eternal there. There's a lot of arcane damage now that Icelander's in the format, and this Bravo has no AB at all. So there becomes a point where the arcane damage is just going to win the game if Lee Kai-Yu is playing for arcane damage. I mean, Arc Knight Ascendancy seems like one of the best specializations in the game, right? Like, assuming you play Pummel to ensure it hits. So it has Dominate.
I mean, the biggest issue is like you have to guarantee the hit, right? And then there's so much armor in the Blitz format right now, unless you run into like Prism. That it's very unlikely that it will. But I mean, if you have the combat tricks like the lunging presses and the pummels and stuff like that, like this list is probably running, then there does seem to be some validity there.
We saw the Bravo go back up to 20 here. Is this an indication that this is probably a very, very defensive Bravo deck? Or is it just like
nothing. I mean,
incidental?
most Bravos, most Bravos are going to run Sigil as
Mhm.
kind of like anti-Kano hate.
Mhm.
But at the same time, and then he might just be planning for like a
Yep.
slower
Mhm.
kind of format. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I think the Bravo just recognized that Shiana does not have a weapon that's sticky on the board
Yep.
and only gets 3 swings out of it.
Mhm.
So if he just hammers every turn, he should win just via deck damage, I think
Yep.
is what the Bravo player is
We
recognizing. So I think he's just trying to keep his life total as high as possible and then kind of like have that cushion in case the
Mhm.
Shiana pulls off something crazy that he doesn't expect.
Yep. So if we like look at the chunkiness of the Shiana attacks. So she has access to Crippling Crust, she has access to Herald of Judgment, uh Arc Knight Ascendancy, Alpha Rampage. Um Oak and Old is not a Oldham specialization, right? uh
It is not
the
because it was in Starvo,
yeah,
remember?
it was in Star Wars, yeah. So I mean there's a decent amount of like Guardian and Illusionist cards that the Shiana can draw from. So I don't know how easy or hard it's going to be for Bravo to win by deck damage if Shiana has several cards that can two for one. We're still in very very uncharted territory here. Like I think we're both like kind of like waiting and seeing here what exactly is going down. So we have a Rousey Ancients getting pummeled here, and looks like a D react from Arsenal. Can't see because of the glare what it is, but yeah.
We are going to get that glare worked on.
Yes,
Oh, it's a
we.
buzzsaw trap. That is huge.
Oh boy. Oh man, all the Riptide
Buzzsaw
traps.
trap
Oh
on
my
the button.
goodness.
Doesn't
uh
deal damage, but boy, they have text on them.
yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, Shakedown is another possibility. There's a lot of that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think she's just trying to
Mhm.
work on 2-card exchanges and get the maximum amount of value. And
Yep.
then, like we saw on you were trying to fix things with the stream, but the
Mhm.
first turn when Bravo attacked her in turn 0,
Mhm.
she blocked with 2 drones. So she does have that game plan
Ah, that
ready. I don't know how it's going to work into Bravo, but we'll see.
mhm. That is something that we definitely need to talk about. Drone of Brutality is almost certainly going to be something that we see quite a bit today. The IRAs are at least running 2. I've seen IRA lists run 6. And it's just a Yoji. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran a Rainbow as well. There's a lot of there's quite a few decks that can make good use of drone. Even like I guess Reinhardt probably doesn't want drone because it's not a brute attack, but like there's a lot of decks that can utilize it pretty well. Ira being chief among them.
I think if Reinhardt's worried about fatigue, you're probably playing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is something that we didn't really get to talk about but in Blitz there are basically 3 types of decks. There's decks that are very bursty and reliant on their equipment, so that's like decks like Vincent, Reinhardt. Those are the 2 that come to mind immediately. Then we have decks that are kind of mid-rangey or very dependent on particular card interactions, like Kasai, Kano to some degree. And then we have decks that are very, very value-oriented, like Ira, or decks that play very slowly. So that would be like the more controlling Iras. That would be decks like Yoji, etc. This Shiana deck is running a lot of defensive cards, it seems. That's an Oasis there.
Fates,
Yeah.
we've seen Sinks, we've seen Oasis, we've seen, and on the other end, we've seen a lot of attack reaction as well. We've seen pummel and then lunging press pitched. So very interesting stuff here for sure.
Yeah.
The first Talishar swing. Let's go.
She's embracing her inner warrior here. Swinging for 4. So these rust counters, I guess, eventually will be relevant. because, as we pointed out, Shiana does not have an actual weapon, so she does need a way to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
If this actually goes to attrition, the Bravo will be able to win because, well, not necessarily because, well, actually, Bravo
We
is
have drone, right? We have multiple.
we have drone, but the interaction is going to be Bravo's going to make a seismic surge and then attack with Anthos for 6, so it's going to demand like 3 drones, right? I mean, there's a world where this game is actually a tie, but I don't believe we're going to get there.
I don't think so. As long as you're running 5 copies of drone, the line that I could see is you could lay down 3 drones
to block the
and then Arsenal a drone, and then lay down 3 drones, pitch 1 to play a drone.
Oh boy!
And then go on a rotation like that. And so theoretically, if she can keep the problem is she has to keep her life totals as high as possible and not let the Bravo throw Starstruck like he's doing right now. Because every time that happens, then you're getting multiple cards out of the deck, and you're not gonna be able to get to that point in the game.
Yeah, something that we haven't mentioned yet is that Shiana is actually able to copy Bravo's hero ability. And so Shiana can actually, she has many attacks that cost 3 or more in her deck. Probably at least 6, at least, maybe 8 of them. And so we could potentially see Bravo taking a Crippling Crush dominated from Shiana. That would be pretty funny.
Well, the crazy part is look at the life total, and then look at Bravo's equipment.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Sure, Bravo has tempo right now, but at the same time, like, Shiana's not in a bad spot. She really isn't.
Yeah, I mean, Bravo pitching multiple blue cards. I mean, his second cycle is going to consist mainly of is this didn't he have another D-React there? I think he has Sync and Fate in his hand. Okay, looks like he's just going to take some damage here. Save the other D-React for later, it looks like. Come back with a 2-card hand here. All right, Tunic ticking up here.
What do we got?
What do we got? Yep. Is that a force of nature? I couldn't quite see.
Force of nature. Yep.
Okay.
That's not positive EV. Yep.
That is I don't think you've ever done that before, right, Nathan? You've played a lot of Force of Natures before, but
you know, I'm a huge advocate for just blocking with them, but that's something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I've never seen that before either. Oh boy!
But it's understandable, right? He had a Sync below in his hand. He needed to get it into Arsenal, so that was the way. The only unfortunate part is that's a 3 block out of the deck, and we know what the eventuality of this match will be. It's about cards more so than life.
Yep.
And you know, just burning a card for no actual benefit is actually going to be detrimental down the line.
This is I mean, I feel like we're basically waiting for second cycle here. Looks like Shiana wants a better hand, maybe. I feel like it is very, very, very difficult to commentate this game because I have no idea what a standard Shiana deck list looks like. They really threw us for a loop. I was like, so Ken is the one that's kind of operating the stream on the Hong Kong side, and I was like, get us a good round 1 match. And this he gave us. He was like, all right, Josh, we're gonna throw you in the deep end here. Commentate this.
Yep.
Oh boy, that okay. So there's 2 Crippling Crushes in the Bravo's graveyard. So he's probably not running Remembrance in Blitz. So,
right.
I mean, the Shiana has basically weathered the storm with the Sync Fate Oasis. I wouldn't even be surprised if she was running like unmovable or something if she really wants to. But that is a little bit of a liability in is that another Riptide? Yeah, it is. Another Riptide D-React, it looks like. Yep.
Yeah, it's collapsing
But
trap.
that was collapsing trap. Yep.
His card.
Yep.
And so that collapsing trap actually blocked for 9 damage because it prevented the hammer swing. So talk about
Pretty
value.
good. That's how you do it. Not force of nature into Talishar. That is not how you do it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So do we think there are particular like tunic plays that Shiana's looking for, or is it just like that's the only option basically?
I mean, you have to assume that there's Tunic Pummel in the deck. There is Herald of Judgment's not going to really play any impact in this match, but I'm sure there are some Tunic plays. But I think it's just for pummeling 2 cost and for like cards like Oasis.
Oh, and Bravo just took that drone.
Huh. We got a big one here.
All right, so this is a pretty big moment
or
here.
A handful of sigils, either one.
That could be it too. So this is this is basically second cycle now. I think we've gone about 10, 11 turns now. So the amount of D-reacts in the Shiana's deck may be very, very low.
Do see a lunging press in Shiana's hand.
Yeah, so looks like the frames are dropping again. Oh no. Well, we're gonna try to figure out a way to fix this after this game.
All right, we do have a Bravo ability activation.
Yep, and is that an ALS?
Let's
go. My god, it is an ALS. Oh my goodness, this Bravo has gotta be annoyed. Hey, Prism players, have you ever pitched a lunging press to play ALS? I don't think you have. Shiana has.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I hate that card.
ALS?
I just hate that.
Oh, I'm sure you do hate ALS.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, so
many times I drop a Channel Mount Heroic and I'm like, okay, it's time to win the game.
And that was from hand as well. So it's like the turn that Bravo wants to go on the offensive, you just have the ALS at the right time. Oh boy.
Now that's about the funniest thing I've ever seen. I think he just played Warmongers into a Bravo.
Is that what happened? Okay, so Bravo...
It does prevent the dominate, right?
It does prevent the dominate, but I mean, other than not blessing of patience, blessing of deliverance, that's like the only...
Well, he can't make a surge either.
Yeah, he can't activate Tectonic Plating. He cannot activate his hero ability. Did
you see a sigil in hand? So that's not going to be prevented from Warmongers. Very interesting. Very interesting.
This is very interesting because I think the Shiana is on Rainbow Drone, and that's gonna basically make up for the fact that Talishar isn't actually a weapon. When you have this type of recursion, is there any other specialization recursion?
No,
I don't think there is. Right. You know what? I'm gonna go look up all the specializations. So just in case there's something I missed. that's the benefit of doing this
No,
from our house, right?
yeah, I think she just has
Mhm.
a weapon. It's just shuffling around in her deck, basically.
Yep.
Simple as
Ooh.
that. And like I said,
Wait,
yeah,
Arc Knight Shard.
Bravo has to start.
Have
Yeah, but that's AB, so that's not true recursion if the opponent has AB. But this Bravo doesn't. So
Yeah, I mean, Arc Knight Shard could be a, but then you have to pitch for something. I guess you'd pitch for the Van Brace, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. Okay,
for
I'm
the
looking.
drone or Van Brace, either one.
Yeah, so I'm looking through. So, Crippling Crush, Buzzsaw Trap. And looking at these, Collapsing Trap would be good. Herald of Judgment is decent in a metagame with the with Chain. Ice Eternal, this is a big one. Shakedown seems decent. We saw Force of Nature. Oh, how did we miss this? Alluring Inducement? That's Shiana has her own specialization. We forgot about that.
That's right.
Yeah. So when it attacks, it only attacks for 2. They reveal their hand. You choose an attack action card, and oh my goodness, Bravo will reveal his hand, and then this will become that attack. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's actually good. That's a good one there. Okay, Spike Pit Trap. That's another one that we would see. Possibly Soul Reaping, but probably not. Starstruck. We're definitely going to see that. Yeah. Okay. So I think we've covered most of them. There's basically about half her deck is specializations. It seems like, and then like a quarter of the deck is like defense, and a quarter of the deck is drones. I think that's roughly where we're at right now. I think that is the case.
What card is he playing that lets him keep looking into
this is the Shiana specialization. So it's turning this into Macho Grande, I think. So yes, this is the specialization of Shiana. So this puny two attack has turned into Macho Grande.
No way. Really?
Yes. Don't you? That's what the card does. That's why I said this is like really good. So alluring inducement is a 2-cost yellow 2 attack 2 block shapeshifter attack action card. Shiana specialization. When you attack with it, you look at their hand, and then your attack becomes their attack.
Holy cow.
And that's super good against Bravo. Oh my goodness. That is so funny.
2-card 8 would dominate? Oh my goodness.
That is ridiculous. You know what? I think it's because there's a storm going on right now. That's why this is really not going well. We are recording the VOD, so there will be a VOD at least of this. Even if the
glare taken care of as
yes,
well.
and we will get the glare. We're still working with the round 1 technical difficulties 8,000 miles away. And this is a Terra Sunder here. Does Shiana have an answer for Terra Sunder here? Currently, she only has... I mean, she has 3 armor here. And with Tunic, she can activate Van Brace, and this is a clean block here. So he's got to block 7 here. So does he have a D-React here? Because this is an Anathos for 7, I believe.
Well, he doesn't...
And
but he's blocking 4 currently, so he only needs 3 from the card.
Is that
those are Ironhide boots?
Oh, those are Ironhide boots. Okay, my bad. Okay, so that was a beautiful block there. I am very, very impressed with the Shiana player so far. I'm very, very impressed so far. We have had very, very, very good defense from this Shoutout player.
And I think he is starting his drone cycle now.
Yep.
Which, like I said, Bravo has to be able to close the game out via either like high enough damage to where like rouse into hammer kind of damage, or being able to dominate. Because if he just tries to swing hammer, he will actually get fatigued out due to drone. Because of the cycle that I mentioned earlier. If the Shiana player has at least 5 drones, they can block 3, arsenal 1 drone, then next turn block 3, and then pitch one of the drones to play the one from arsenal, and then just keep that rotation going. So the Bravo player really needs to start pushing either wide damage or dominate damage. Does not really need to be utilizing the hammer in any way.
Yep. And we just saw Drone get 2 cards from the Bravo's deck here. The Shiana deck is very thin, though. It seems like about 8 cards or so, maybe even 6, and you just drew 4 of them. So we got a little bit of work to do here.
Drone is just better rights of a punishment, unfortunately.
Yep. And
Yep,
so pitch
there goes another drone.
pitch drone for drone. That's
There
how
we
you
go.
do it. Turns out pretty good. And Bravo can't even like take a little bit of damage to have a pivot here, because without AB he just dies to Ice Eternal.
Right. Not only that, but he's getting down to his. So right now he has a rouse in arsenal, but the problem is he has a lot of like warmongers and showtimes and stuff like that in his deck.
Yep.
So it's actually going to be very difficult to be able to block that damage and actually fulfill the requirement for rouse. He might have it here, but he's got to be super careful.
All right, there's the Ice Eternal that I was talking about. And with no AB, isn't Ice Eternal just... Well, no.
You have to deal the arcane damage.
Yeah, so it has to be... Frost Hex is an ice card, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, you have to fuse it with Frost Hex or the Oldham specialization, right?
Ah, yes. That is an ice card, yes, correct.
That is an ice card. So those are his only 2 options for fusion. So here's another hammer. Like I said, that's just not going to do it at this point in the game because... but I think the reason that he's doing this play is because he knows he could just die to Ice Eternal.
Yep.
But we're actually seeing Shiana put in some work. That alluring inducement is actually
I mean, when you're playing against Bravo,
dominate. Let's go.
Oh boy, we have another Talishar swing here. Interesting. Is there a particular reason why he's swinging Talishar here instead of playing the drone?
I think he wants to keep it in hand so he can actually block with it.
Right.
I think that's what he's doing.
We are also
to establish a situation.
Yep. We're also in the point of the game where this could be getting close to time. We're seeing them both play quicker now. There's the Frost Hex. And if he blocks with the Frost Hex, he cannot fuse the Ice Eternal here. And there is no Storm Striders, right?
I'm not sure if he's blocked with the second one. I'm not sure.
Looks like he's just trying to cover up some of this Rouse the Ancient damage here. There's a giant-ass storm going over here. Oh, man. Oh, boy. All right, so Hammer coming in here for 6. Pretty good. But drone gonna drone. And we have a lunging press in hand here. Nothing to do. Passing back.
Not the pass. Oh. If he had a red drone in Arsenal here, he could actually get the Bravo player in a rotation where he can actually never dominate again, as long as his drones are not too far out. So
The pointing here
That's actually
is
very
gonna
interesting.
when I believe that they are pointing for turns here. I think it has actually been about 30 minutes. So, well, that's a very anticlimactic way to end the game.
No.
No. Well, we can fix the stream and fix the glare, and yeah,
no.
try to fix everything here. We weren't talking about Endless Winter. We're talking about the new Oldham specialization.
Yeah, we're talking about what's that card called?
Oh
man,
not Endless Winter.
Northern Winds.
Northern Winds. Northern Winds, the new blue.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's a just ice action card. Okay. Well, unfortunately, that is a tie. I am going to restart the stream with higher latency. Hopefully that fixes some of this. If not, we will take more extreme measures. All right, so we will be back shortly.